Hi everybody, this is Elena of the Witches Box, and I'm here with our weekly Tuesday live where I do an oracle reading for the community, and then we just hang out and do witchcraft Q&A. I see that there are some people kind of hanging out concurrently watching. Let me know that you're here, where you are, what you're doing. We are in the middle of Heatwave, California, here at the Witches Box headquarters. I am moving around from one space to the other, from one air-conditioned environment to the other, because it's intense. It's intense out there, I have to say. If you have not joined us for this in the past, what we do is we get together and we hang out live. It's super casual and super great. Hi Maria, how are you? Welcome. I pull a card from one of the decks that I'm inspired to use currently, and I'll do an oracle reading, which generally culminates in a question, because my readings tend to be about the soul question, the questions that your soul most want you to answer now, so that it increases the momentum of your spiritual unfolding. And then we hang out and we do Q&A. Whatever it is that you want to talk about regarding witchcraft, we do that. I will probably, now as people arrive, I'll do a couple of announcements before we all get light here. Hello Jamie, hi Skylar, hello Esther, hola, Layla, Lasem, hello, welcome everybody. Oh my goodness. You see me because you're talking to me, but it's telling me that there's no data, but obviously there's data because it's right here. Listen, I don't know that we're actually officially in Mercury retrograde. We're definitely in the shadow of Mercury retrograde. I'm not sure if it started or not, but we're there. We're also approaching the full moon in the next few days. We've got the moon ritual coven for that. If you want a ritual delivered to you digitally, excuse me, for every new moon, full moon, and dark moon, we have the moon ritual coven for that. People who have purchased the huge mystery boxes, I think that there are a couple more left, like just barely. So get in on that. Those are getting packed up and they've started to get shipped. They probably won't finish getting shipped until next Monday, which I deeply apologize for, but I'm actually having to leave town Thursday through Sunday, so it's going to delay some of this a little bit. And all of the September boxes are out. Yeah, all of the September boxes are out. We will not have any extras of those to sell to anybody. That is a candle magic box with a beautiful book and beautiful candles and all sorts of things, but we don't have any extra of those. And we've sold out of all of the moon mist spray boxes, just with the 3 sprays and the recipes. Those are gone. I sent out an email this morning. There are a handful of the moon mist box, like the big witches box with the oracle card holder and all the botanicals and all the things. There, last I checked, there were 8 of those left, I think, or 5 of those left. And so if you want them, if you want the sprays and you're just like, this is it, because now you have the recipes, mama doesn't have to make them anymore, so those will not come back. I promise, I vow, it'll never happen again, because the recipes are out. I've given those away. Boom. What is the other announcement that I have? This is another announcement that I have, so pay attention. We only have about 26 or 29. I have 2 different numbers on my screen, people here, but I will also post this to, what am I posting it to? To the forum for the Witches Box. The next box, the October box, is not a vegan box. I think last week you guys were asking me about hints and sneak peeks for that box. I had to change the whole thing up, which is fine. It totally works, because I love what we're going to be doing. October is always the month. October is always the box that you want, because we get down and dirty into the witchcraft. This is not a vegan box by any stretch of the imagination. And so if you feel like this is going to be super offensive to you, you might want to pause your subscription before you get the box. And the deadline for doing that is the 15th of September. Now, if you want that kind of box, you have until the 15th of September to subscribe to the box to make sure that you get it. Mm-hmm. There is also a book in this one. There's a book in this one, and there are some very ethically sourced animal parts, basically, is what we're going to be working with. So there you go. That's your big sneak peek. Boom. And other announcements. We have, I don't know now, because my numbers, I look at numbers every day and I don't know who's who now because I write it down. We have, I think, 2 spots still available for the ancient, oh my God, ancient. Your girl's tired. This heat has got me just like, the ancestral initiation retreat that we're doing in a week and a half. So it's really right around the corner. I know it's super last minute, but if you're one of those people who's like, I really need a retreat, I want to do deep work for the fall and get down and dirty into the ancestral work, this is the retreat for you. It's in Temecula, California, the 16th of September through the 19th. The menu is getting put together right now and it's going to be amazing. There's just a lot of really great things going on. It's going to be really powerful. I just can't wait. Anyway, we have a couple of spaces left. Go check out the website for that because the time to do this now, registration ends on the 10th for that. And I think that is all I have in terms of announcements. Let me see what's happening in this box. I said hello. Hi, Michelle and Cheryl and Brooke, Abby, Bailey, Jenny. Hi, Midwest Mama, Claudia. I love it. All these names. Elsbeth. I love it. Hello. Welcome. Wonderful. Everything's working. You can hear. Yeah. And now it says excellent connection. I don't know. I just ignore it. If the little glide is green, I think that I should just ignore all the other things that it tells me. But I have 2 different windows that tell, it's a whole thing. It'd be awesome, like a dream come true, to have like a producer that just kind of sits at the controls and tells me what gives me like little hand signals. All right. Beautiful. Oh yeah, Maria, I know there's a big fire. Your hometown with the fire in Valley Vista. We're keeping an eye on it. It's very hot, very dry out here. Interestingly, I tend to be it's a big stressor out here. We have trauma around fire here because we've had some intensely devastating fires on this mountain and the mountain range and the whole thing. I have not been, normally I'd be looking at the map and the movement and how much it's contained. I haven't done that for the last couple of days, but there's just this underlying anxiety in everything I'm doing. It's just, you feel it. The entire town is feeling it. The mountain is feeling it. Yeah, I mean, it's fire season. This is kind of a thing. So I'm yes, thank you. I appreciate that. How's the heat wave? Is it over yet, and will it impact the retreat? No, we're in the middle of this heat wave. Apparently, it'll start to dissipate sometime this Thursday. I don't know. We have a pretty big house with a fairly decent air conditioner, so we're probably going to spend a lot of time indoors for the most part, unless it's like really nice, because we've got a beautiful, you've seen the pictures on the page, it's a beautiful view, but we are also in a fairly modern house, so there's going to definitely be air conditioning. I can't do anything without air conditioning. And we're going to be ritualing, but we're going to do it outside in the evening and at night, so by that point it should get cool, or cooler. So that's where we're at. For the most part, my intention for the retreat is that in the morning, early in the morning, it's optional to sit outside and do a morning meditation. I'll be leading us in a meditation in the morning outside if you want. That's optional because some people like to sleep in. And then if it's nice, we might like do a snack or something outside. But we will be doing, we'll be making a pretty, we'll be during the afternoon, definitely on Saturday, we'll be engaging in a pretty intensive ritual art practice, and that might be better suited outside. It just depends on the weather, so it could be done outside or inside. So I'm not really worried about the heat wave out there. Temecula can get seriously hot, so there's that. But once we're inside, Mama can crank that air conditioning to 65 if I have to. It's okay. And I'll have you all hydrated, so it's all good. Loving the candle. Oh, good. I'm glad that you're loving the candle magic box. I just packed for you, actually, Esther. You bought, I'm not going to tell people, I'm not going to out you, but you bought something and I packed your other box, and that's going to be going out, I think, to you today. which is fun. Elizabeth, I was going to buy Madame Pamita's book. Now I'm reading it. Wonderful. You don't have to buy it because I gave it to you. Brooke, oh my God, I'm loving the candle box. Oh, I love that. You love that. And isn't the book beautiful? The cover is just so pretty. I love it. Bailey, the fire is awful. Yeah, it's awful. It's awful. Yikes, I made it. Chaos Bunny Tuesday. No, we don't want Chaos Bunny. Just you in your centered state. There's a lot of energy moving around this week. Hello, Emerence, Dana, beautiful, wonderful. Okay, so let's talk about our oracle pull for the day. So I'm back and still working on this one. I love this deck. We sent this out, I don't know, someone knows, a year or so ago maybe. And this is the card that I pulled, and it's interesting. I feel like maybe a year ago I pulled this card already. And I want to preface it by saying that we did the Invoke Yourself Holy Witch virtual retreat a couple of months ago, and I'm revamping that a little bit and looking to offer it again in the next few months. I wanted to do it. I had toyed with the idea of making it a go at your own pace course that you can just take without it being on a schedule, but it's the kind of class that really requires the group and the group interaction. Anyway, I was looking through it, and so I'm in that mindset. I'm in the mindset of what it is to invoke yourself as the fully formed, fully actualized holy witch that you are, right? So all of that said, that in that mindset that has been with me like for the last several days, I pulled this card, and this is the card that came up. And I'll tell you why all of that is relevant in a minute. So it's the wolf. Remember that this is the archetype, right? This is an archetypal deck. So it speaks to the archetype of a wolf. And we know a lot of things about a wolf, which I'm not going to get into now. But what came up when I pulled this card, because of from where my head has been at, what came up was the question, what would you be like? Who would you be if you were both the wolf and the full moon? So if you claimed a statement for yourself, I am the wolf and I am the full moon, who and what would you be? What would be your characteristics? There's a lot of layers there in terms of what that small little story can reveal about our magical spiritual nature. And so that's the oracle that I've got for you today. Who are we? Who am I if I am the wolf and the full moon? So there's that. And I'm going to put this card down and see what's going on. But if you have ideas, we can go over that. We can share that with each other. Or if you have questions about that, certainly ask me. I felt like that statement was so powerful that I can probably hang out with that question for weeks. So there's that. Okay, let me see what's happening. You're welcome, Esther, for sure. Oh, is it bone divination? I don't know. I don't know. Let's see. Left to go to, oh no, Chaos Bunny left to go to work. The puppy is now calm. Oh, got it. I love that deck. I think it was February last year. It probably was. I don't even have the list here. Brooke says, ooh, the wolf. I would be silvery. Yes, great question, right? I am the wolf and the full moon. Who am I? What am I like? How do I move energetically? What are my powers? You know, we've got all these different mythologies around werewolves and how they change during the full moon, or how they howl at the full moon and how it brings out their wild primal nature. And then we've got wolf as an archetype on its own, pack animals. I think some of them mate for life, right? They are also predators. They hunt, they're powerful, they're beautiful. And so there's a lot there, right, that you can unpack and sit with as a meditation for a long time. For me, the things that come up are humans are predators. We are, in terms of like that hierarchy, we are one of the apex predators of the planet. And so if I'm a predator, how do I feel about that? How do I move as a predator? How am I responsible as a predator? The wolf is very much a predator, but also very family oriented and very, very bonded. There are beautiful qualities in all of that, the good, the bad, the ugly, or the scary, or the things that we're uncomfortable with. But then the dance with the moon, if I am also the full moon and the werewolf, or and the wolf, not the werewolf, although you can bring that in as well. What does that say about me? What's my magic like? What is my superpower like? Hold on. I'm trying to keep it cool in here. So sit with that. Sometimes the oracle, the moon is not related to Mercury. I mean, the moon is its own entity, and so is Mercury. The moon and Mercury can have aspects to each other in someone's chart. If the moon, oh God, I don't remember. If the moon is in, what is the sign that's ruled by Mercury? I don't even remember. Isn't it Gemini? I think it's Gemini. If the moon is in Gemini, then it's related to Mercury in some way. So there are different ways that it can be, but it just depends on what you're asking. Okay, hold on a second. My nose is just, this is the thing too. This is like, we're in September. We had a relative, at least up here, we had a relatively moderate summer. I mean, it was warm. We've had some hot days, but we never really reached 90 here because we're elevated. This week, it's like the heat has hit, and I think things are like that had not bloomed or exploded yet are exploding now. And so the itchy, it's a big deal in the last few days. Okay. I keep seeing Esther's question. That makes me smile. No, I think, Abby says, I think of unmoving confidence. Yes, there is such a beautiful, stately self-confidence in wolves, right? Beautiful. Thank you for saying that. Isn't the moon real? Okay, I read that. Do wolves need a pack to survive? Can they not have a mate but be part of a community? I think that wolves can be lone and survive, but I think their typical nature is to be pack animals, and they don't have to be a pack with their mate. They can be unmated, because we know that packs have several different roles and several different members that do different things within the pack. But that said, my understanding is that they can be a pair, they can be a full pack, whatever that looks like. And wolves sometimes will be lone wolves as well, but their nature typically is to be a part of a pack. It'd be interesting to kind of to research that, because I'm pretty sure they would survive, but I think some part of them would be missing, right? Hi Carrie, I'm glad that you made it live. So Erin says, well then, with the werewolf, there's a change and a flow. Yeah, Sandy. Hello. Hi, Sandy. Elena, weird question, but did you happen to work at B. Dalton in the 90s? I did not work at B. Dalton's in the 90s, but wow, what a flash from the past. B. Dalton's. Remember B. Dalton's bookstore? Is that still a thing? I can't imagine that it is. But no, I never worked, and sadly and weirdly, I never worked at a bookstore. I don't understand how that happened. Cheryl, hello. I feel I would call in my power by howling. Yes, the howling moon. Maybe we need to do a little howling when we get to our retreat. Although it'll be a waning moon, which will be perfect for the work that we're doing. Is the theme that wolf and moon both remind me of is knowing. Beautiful, SM. Thank you for that. Yeah. Esther, oh, those are great journaling questions. What do I move like? What's my superpower? Yeah. Endless Awareness, who is Ralph, says the moon and the wolf both exist in admiration of each other. The moon pulls from the wolf its howl, like the moon pulls the tides to and from the shore. Beautiful. The wolf howls in made reference to the moon. Okay, I had to read that again because it starts to move. How do I stop it from moving? The wolf howls in made reverence to the moon's energy and power. Beautiful. Skylar says, I feel like if you are the full moon, you are the source of your own power. Beautiful. Camilla says, the wolf to me is the archetype of the hermit. Oh yeah, that's a beautiful connection. The one who searches and asks for answers in the nighttime, and the moon is the lantern. Oh, it's beautiful. Beautiful. Camilla, that is beautiful. Esther, is the wolf connected to the dark goddess? I'm not readily thinking of any goddess, any darker goddess that has a correspondence or a connection to the wolf. But in some ways, I think that that part of that primal nature, that predatory nature, that isn't dark necessarily, but we relegate those parts of ourselves to the dark in that sense. There can be a connection there, but like an obvious one or a common one that we all share that we talk about, I can't think of one in that way. Bailey says, also weird question, are you related to Yes, Bailey, I am related to Magdi Capo. Who are you? Well, we're not actually officially related, but we grew up together, so we kind of consider ourselves cousins, and our parents were close friends, for a very, very long time. Both my parents are since passed, and her father, as you might know, has passed as well. But we grew up together. Holy cow. Who are you, Bailey Berber? Tell me how you know Magdi. Cheryl says, there's a wonderful documentary at Nat Geo about wolves. Oh, I bet. It'd be fun to check out. That might be a really beautiful thing to do this week, too. I am sure that if you are subscribed to Netflix, that you can find some really great documentaries on animals and wolves. Or if you don't, then maybe there's a lot probably on YouTube, but just to kind of immerse yourself a little bit as a meditation in their behavior and watching them to kind of see what you can glean, what wisdom you can glean from just observing them. That'd be lovely. Oh my gosh, where am I? Maria says, unwavering confidence, living in my intuition trance space, deep, unwavering loyalty and instinctual. Yes. There is that beautiful instinctiveness that they have, I think, on their own, but then you couple that with the moon and how deeply rooted to our own personal intuition the moon is and how influential it is to our intuition and the way we move emotionally and psychically. I think that there's a lot of power there. I love that this card came up. It just really ignited something in me. I miss B. Dalton in most bookstores and coffee. Yeah. Camilla, that was gorgeous. It was. Maria, wolf is connected to the Morrigan. Oh, beautiful. Abby says Hecate has dogs and dogs are wolves at the beginning. Yes, that's true. And that's what I thought about. I thought about Hecate, but then I thought, well, her hounds are dogs, but they're the same family, give or take. She shifts into wolf form. So now then we do have a dark goddess and we have a fierce goddess connected to the wolf. Bailey says, oh yes, she is my friend and she referred me to your page. I know about her dad. Oh, wonderful. Oh my God. I'll have to text her and say, hey, your friend was there. Awesome. Welcome. Bailey says she grew up with Adam and Dale Frazier and my sister married Dale and hung out. See, I don't know those people. She, I think, I don't even know. We went to different schools. We were in different cities, but we were friends. Our families, were family friends. And I don't know now, but I'm older than her. So I was in college and she was still, I think, in maybe a sophomore or, so in terms of friends and what we were doing, we were a little off in years, but I love that you're here. I'm going to have to text her after I get off of here and say, oh my gosh. And she knows you, I'm sure, as Bailey. Yeah. That's not your fun online name, but it's your name. Let me know. And then I can let her know that you reached out. Carrie the Aries says, wolves are beautiful creatures. They are. Skylar says, I thought the Morgan was connected to the Raven. Also Raven. So the Morgan. The Morgan, definitely the Raven, but there are a couple of other animal correspondences with the Raven as well that are lesser known. Abby says, I have the Woodland Warden's deck and the wolf is paired with a rose hip. Oh, beautiful. I don't even know I'm going to say anything because I'm just ridiculous. I was going to say, I'm starting to look at culling I'm not going to cull my cards. But I know that I wrote this name down before and I didn't get the deck. Yes, Raven, Wolf, and Cattle. She knows me as Marina. Oh my gosh, Marina. Well, I'm so happy you're here. She moved away. She's so far now. I haven't seen her in a long time. We texted, I don't know, a month or so ago. It's been a minute. So it's nice. It's nice to have her name come up. Her and I mean, no one cares about this and no one knows who she is but you. But before I started the Witches Box, her and I went in on a business together. That just didn't work out. I think we tried it for 6 months and then that kind of pivoted me into the Witches Box. So there's a little history for you. So like that. All right, Wolf. I'm going to give you homework. I'm going to give you homework to see if you can find any kind of documentary or, informational video. You can do YouTube. YouTube is free unless you have got access to like Netflix. I don't do Hulu, but I imagine that Hulu may also have documentaries. Um, and I also have Amazon, but I don't know that Amazon does documentaries anyway. Anyway, do a search and give over at least half an hour to really just watching wolves, and then think about the energy of the moon and the way that the moon moves, and go with that. I'm almost done with those rituals. I may incorporate wolf actually into the moon ritual coven for this week to see how that goes. Yeah, it was. I don't have any problem saying it. It was what was it? um oh my god. What were we called? I'm totally blanking on the name of that business. It wasn't the Precious Period. Oh my god. I don't even remember what it was called. I'm so embarrassed right now. The Period Box, but was it just the Period Box? It had a different name, didn't it? Anyway, everyone else is like, what are you talking about? There was another business attempt in my past. There were actually several different business attempts in my past. Anyway, that was one of them. The Period Box. But it was something else. It was a cuter name. I don't know. In any case, yes, there's that. All right. What do you tell me about your witchcraft? Tell me what's going on. If you have any questions, there were some questions that came through. I sent out an email on today's Tuesday. I want to say that I sent out an email on Sunday about the Ancestral Initiation Retreat, where I wrote a little bit about connecting with well ancestors and what that journey was like. I mean, it was a very light summary of what that journey was like for me in terms of connecting with well ancestors, as opposed to feeling like I had to work with ancestors that I felt were still entrenched in their, dysfunctional human drama that I didn't want to be a part of. And some questions came through about what that felt like or what that was like. So I just want to open it up to their questions, because what we're doing is we're entering into a season in the fall where working with our ancestors become much more prevalent. We've got Samhain coming, we have All Saints Day, we have Hallows, all those things where for some just Halloween, right? Day of the Dead. And this comes up a lot during this time of year, even though ancestral work is something that is ongoing and you do whenever you want, as regularly as you want, right? It's not just relegated to a certain particular part of the calendar. So we can talk about that if you have questions, and whatever else is going on with your witchery. Emerin says, yes, Amazon does have documentaries. You just need to search for them. Perfect. Perfect. Yeah. I probably spend most of my time on Netflix, although nothing has been calling to me lately, but I'll do a search too, because it'll be fun to do a little bit of a deep dive. I'm trying to think. Many years ago, this was when my grandmother-in-law was alive, so gosh, I feel like it was at least over 10 years ago. This was a long time ago, but somewhere here in Southern California, we went to a wolf reserve, and preserve, where there were wolves who were being rehabilitated because they were injured or whatever was going on, and they were there, and we got a chance to just see them. And I don't think that we had an opportunity to pet them, but we were there when all of a sudden one began to howl, and then the entire it's a massive piece of property where they have space to roam, but they're still fencing to kind of keep them in a particular space. One started to howl, and then the entire property, all of them, just started to howl all in unison. It was one of the most I get a little teary now thinking about it, because it was so beautiful. It's one of those things where you hear that sound and it just resonates in your chest. So beautiful. There are quite a few places like that around the country. I don't know about the rest of the world, where you can go. You can also donate money, because people are doing really beautiful work in rehabilitation with wolves. So that's an opportunity too to go explore that connection. Oh, Emerson's, I love hearing about your history. Interesting how things line up. Yeah, things happen. Things happen. You will probably, well, is that true? I mean, it's not really related to this conversation, but as we move closer and closer into our relaunch, You'll hear more and more about my history just in terms of my witchery. That'll come out at some point too in more detail. Um, Abby says, "You got me hooked on Sandman and we started watching Shadow and Bone. I haven't seen Shadow and Bone yet, which might be something to do. I'm feeling like I don't have a lot of time for TV watching, but at the end of the day at night, I don't really have the energy to read. I just want to receive something without effort for at least an hour a night. And there hasn't really been anything exciting. And but you know what is exciting? Hello, what just started? Well, the Game of Thrones prequel is going on, which I started to watch, and I forgot about this. The Rings of Power just started, I think, on Amazon, which is the prequel to Lord of the Rings. So I'm in Fantasyland right now. It's been kind of nice. I had totally forgotten about that. Nicole says, anything witchy that you love on Netflix? I'm sure other people will give you stuff. I loved Sandman. It's not witchy, but it is supernatural magical. I love that. And again, not witchy, but the two that I just mentioned, which I don't know I don't know that either on Netflix, to be honest with you. I don't know. We have a thing. We have like a Plex thing where all the things that we watch kind of get funneled through there. I don't know. And I just turned the button on. I don't know how all of that works. In any case, so I don't know where the Game of Thrones is, which is not really, really witchy, but the Lord of the Rings, it's magical. There's elves. There's something about that speaks to me. And Sandman felt very witchy to me, even though it wasn't like witchy. I like the archetypes. I like the mythologies and how he's kind of woven them together in a very particular way. So there's that. Esther says, what herbs are good for working with the ancestors? It depends on your ancestors, quite frankly. For me, I ask, like, what is it that you're longing for? Like, which ones would best work for you? And I tend to stick with resins and rum, rum. So there's rum for me, which I don't know that we can consider a botanical, but it is an ingredient in food and consumption. And I like a lot of frankincense, a lot of copal copal is partly me. I really love copal, but the resins are what keep coming up more and more. And so I've used frankincense, I've used myrrh, I've used yerba buena, which is like a spearmint ish, I've used cedar, but that's also, I think, part of my own personality. The cedar always weaves in there, and the rose. But those are, it's a reflection of both me and what I've received. I've also lately been hearing a big request again, and it only comes in waves, which is interesting. I don't know. I haven't asked, and I should just ask what that's about. But honey is also beginning to be requested. So there's honey that's coming through as well, and cinnamon, honey and cinnamon, those two things. Yeah. So I ask. I don't think that it's not a one size fits all. I think that some of the culture that still lingers in that line, different cultures with an S, influence what may be wanted and may not be wanted. Also, keep in mind that when you're working with recent dead, like in the last couple of generations, they will probably really want and desire things that they really loved in their living life. Right? A plate of food or a drink. The further back you go and the further back you work with someone, those vestiges are gone or a lot more distant, and they're not going to necessarily sound that way. Sometimes what comes through is whatever was indigenous to the land that they were originally on. You may not know if that's what it is or not. But for me, at least my experience has been that it gets simpler and simpler the further back you go in terms of what the desire or the request is. Any kind of like full meal or things like that, I only reserve for those who are recently dead. It's not part of my ancestral work with my ancestral council, right? That I work with, like that. Oh, Layla, it's not. My own book project is not. It's been on hold for quite a minute because of the relaunch and staffing changes and all sorts of things are going on back here. So it's just taken a back seat. And although I will say that I am deeply longing to get back, and we'll see. It's kind of a sad topic for me because I really just want to be in that, but lately life is not roomy enough for that. Hey Brenda, welcome. It's okay that you're late. Emerence says, a couple of years ago, went out for Halloween night and a group was dressed as Dia de los Muertos. They were shocked that I asked and said I was the only person who knew what it was. Oh, interesting. I mean, it depends on where you are. It feels so ubiquitous now, right? But I also live in Southern California where there's a massive Latin American population here. So I think it depends on where you are. I am surprised though that they would be shocked because Vegas is still a fairly there's a lot of Latin American influence in Nevada, right? So that's interesting. So another person for Shadow and Bone being really good. I need to get on that. Priestess of Wonderland says, I attribute Sandman for starting me on the path. I was so excited for the Netflix show. I think they did such a beautiful job. And what I'm not into is that we have to wait like what, a whole year for more? I don't like it. Nicole says, fair enough, babe. That's okay. I forgot what you asked. So let me scroll back. Oh, there you go. Cool. Elza says, end of the day, go Audible, go Scottish Val McDermott, 1979. I don't know what that even means. End of the day, go Audible. I want to say that you're asking for, or you're suggesting something to listen to on Audible, I think is what you're saying. Emerin says, Game of Thrones and prequel Dragons is HBO. Oh, see, I don't even know. We subscribe to various things, but it all just kind of funnels through something. Are you decorating for Halloween? I used to when kids are small. I do love decorating with pumpkins. I don't always, depending on what's going on in our living situation if we're traveling. I don't know. We may be traveling this year around that time, so I don't know that I will. Definitely change the altars. Altars change, offerings change, things get kind of cleaned up and redone. If I'm going to be doing something particular I usually do it like I do work on the 30th, 31st, the 1st, and sometimes on the 2nd. Like I go long and big because there's different things that I want to do. And so for that, there's changes in altars and things like that for those. But probably not. We don't really get trick-or-treaters or anything like that because the homes are so far apart from each other. We're in the woods. There's no lights out. We don't have street lights or anything. It gets really dark at night. We do have a small little family that's new to the neighborhood that moved in, I think maybe 2 years ago. And so they'll call a couple of the neighbors and say, hey, do you mind just being home for just us to walk by and get some candy so the kids get the experience? But we don't really have any other kids on the block or in the area. Anyway, all that to say is I don't know, and it won't be big if I do. It'll be just my altar space and what I'm working with. Esther says, I'm into both Rings of Power and House of Dragons. Great series. I just watched Lady Olenna from Game of Thrones. I just watched some kind of clip that came up on YouTube the other day where Lady Olenna is talking to Khaleesi, right, Daenerys, and I think she's asking for advice. And Lady Olenna, who is probably one of my two favorite characters on the entire show, when she says, she's talking about the men who advise her and they're all sheep. Are you sheep? You're not sheep. You're a dragon. Be a dragon, right? Like that line is just so beautiful. Anyway, I love that show. It took me a minute to get into Game of Thrones when it came through, but once I was in, I was in. Fate Winx Saga is a YA type, but really good. There seems to be a lot of really good YA books out there. Nicole says, hope you're doing well, my love. Anyways, I just woke up to use the bathroom at 4 a.m. pregnant with my fourth. Oh my gosh, congratulations. But go to sleep. Go back to bed. Rings of Power is on Amazon. Esther, I do rum, honey, cafe, espresso, mint, they like, and rue. But I think my witch guide is behind my love affair with rue. I mean, and you'll find, and I know that you've found this, I'm sure I have found this, and a lot of us have, that we have a council of many different beings that are always with us, not just our ancestors, but our deities, but right, the oracle, all these different, we start to collect what I call the council. And then you have a symphony of different requests and different, desires in terms of offerings and botanicals and things. And we become really unique in the way we approach things, each individually, just because of who we have around us. And then there are, of course, a lot of overlap. My ancestors love fresh flowers. Yes. We will have fresh flowers for our retreat. I'm very excited. Sandy says, I'm new to wanting to work with my ancestors. Are there any books you would recommend to start? Yes, it's a book that I recommend to everybody. It's Ancestral Medicine by Dr. Daniel Foor, Foor. Start there, end there, hang out there. It is really one of the best books I think I've read on ancestral work. So there's that. Emerence. Merlin is now complete. Oh, I didn't know that. Merlin is now complete on Netflix. I had no idea. Jamie says, I've heard that there may not be a second season of What? I don't want to hear this. From what Gaiman says, it may be too expensive and would need way more popularity to keep going. Oh my, I can't hear that. So all of you need to go out and like campaign for every single person that you know to go watch it, is what I'm going to say, because we need to have a second one. It was so good. Emran says, there's a lot of Latin and Hispanic cultures here, yes, but apparently not enough for most to recognize. But I'm a culture junkie and I grew up in Northern California. I was exposed to a lot. Beautiful. Lasem says, I'm an animation fanatic. Howl's Moving Castle is stunning. I'm going to write that down. Howl's Moving Castle. Castle. I'll check it out. Cursed on Netflix was pretty good, but they canceled it. Cursed. I am looking forward to having like a really, really cold, blustery winter so that I can kind of hide out a little bit more than usual and just watch TV for weekends on end. That seems like a fun thing to do with like blanket and hot chocolate, the whole thing. Yeah, this news, Jamie, is not making me happy. It really is very distressing to me. I haven't heard anything, but then I haven't been looking to see what people are saying about anything. But let's hope that they bring it back. Camilla says, I saw some witches using pebble wax melter. Is that the right name? Does anyone use it? I saw them putting water and herbs inside to make the aroma flow. If you do, how do you use? I think I know what you're talking about, but I don't. The pebble wax melter is kind of throwing me off. I've used pebble wax to melt to make seals, right, on a letter or an envelope, but I don't know that that's what you're talking about. Are you talking about like the little kind of bowl with a candle underneath that heats it up and then aroma comes out? Is that what you're talking about? Because you can put water and herbs inside so that as it heats, the aroma comes out. You can put a little bit of water in it and then a drop or two of essential oil, and then the aroma will come out if you have a candle underneath. I think that that's what you're talking about. But let me know if I got it or not. Emran says, Letter for the King and Luna Nero, Witchy, good, and recommended in Netflix. I don't even know what that is, but I'll write that down too. Letter for the King and Luna Nero. Is the Luna Nero one Italian? I think it is. With subtitles, yeah, because I think I saw something like that and the name is vaguely familiar. Abby says, listen, I agree, that was great too. Beautiful. Cool. I'll have to check this out. That's great. I don't have any time to check any of this out, but I can have a little list, and every once in a while if I have time I'll check it out. What else is happening? Fall equinox in the Northern Hemisphere is coming up. Hold on. That means that spring equinox, I had to like look at the, anyway, so that means that spring equinox is coming for those in the Southern Hemisphere. So we have a big change in seasons. That doesn't mean that you have to celebrate them. Not everyone does. All witches don't have to, but it is a changing of time, a changing of weather, hopefully. I love it as like a witch's Thanksgiving. It's like the second, but the main harvest. And I really love that. I love that time of year. It's great for like bringing people together and eating a beautiful meal, everyone cooking. There's something about that that's really bountiful and a really beautiful way of celebrating our bounty. We have a lot to be grateful for, despite the difficulties and despite the things that we've all been going through. Um, as I'm saying this, I'm also really shocked that we're at this point in the year. I feel like this year has gone by very, very fast, but they all seem to be going faster and faster. But let me know if you're doing anything for the fall, because that'd be exciting to hear about. And then in about 15 minutes, I'll pull out. Potentially a second season of Good Omens. I still haven't seen that. I have a lot to catch up on, actually. I love the witchcraft themes. Yes, yes. Jamie says, I love the Lunanera one. Switched it to English when watching. Okay, so it is an Italian one, yeah. I think John, my husband, had pointed it out to me a few months ago, and I kind of had it in the back of my head. But more often than not, if I am watching TV, I'm doing something else while I watch TV, and I'm learning Italian. I've been trying to learn Italian for over a year. So my Italian isn't good enough for me to like not always be reading, because if you're speaking really fast, I can't track. And so if I'm always doing something else while watching a TV show, it doesn't work if it's got subtitles. I have to really like focus. So I put it away for the time being, and then I lost track of it. But I can also switch it to English. That makes sense. Lunanera. Originally, I remember thinking I can use it to learn more, to practice my Italian, but no, it didn't work. Lunanera is in English? Interesting. I need to look it up, because there's one that's Italian, and it's like a witch. I think she's young and in school, things start to happen, but they're all speaking to each other in Italian. So maybe it's not Lunanera. Camilla says, yes, that thing is a mini pot with a candle underneath. I wonder how to use it. I will make experiments. Yeah, so you would have like a little, I don't have anything like that in front of me to give you an example, but let's just pretend, right? You probably have a little tea light. You put it under the little bowl, and in the bowl, I don't know that you can do water, and you want a super aromatic herb. Fresh is better than not in this instance. And then you put it there, and the flame heats the water, which then heats the botanical, which then releases the aroma. That's one way of doing it. The other way of doing it is doing water as well, and then doing 1 or 2 drops. If you want to go big, you can do 3 drops of an essential oil, and the same thing will happen. It's really great for aromatherapy that way. You have a better chance of getting really like room-wide scent when you use the essential oil as opposed to the botanical, depending on the botanical that you use. So I hope that was helpful. But all you do is just a little bit of water on top, and you light a little tea light. And the tea light, I don't know that it will totally boil it, but it heats everything enough so that it releases the aroma. Those are fun to have. So I'll have to check. There's a lot of, we don't know about Lunanera now. Abby, we have had cold snaps leading up to the spring equinox. Abby says that we have had cold snaps leading up to the spring equinox. Frozen in hail yesterday. Holy cow. So I'm going to assume that you are in Australia, or at least down South Hemisphere somewhere. Spring. I'm not ready for spring. I'm so I do this every year. This is my favorite time of year. I cannot wait until we're deep in fall. Cannot wait till we're deep in winter. I always like do a little, I'm pretty retreated anyway, but I always tend to retreat even more during that time of the year. So yeah, I need it. I'm looking forward to it. Oh, okay. So Emran's just looked, and it is Italian. Okay. And Carrie the Aries says, I'm waiting for my first mystery box to arrive. So excited. So Carrie, I don't know if you were here in the beginning when I was announcing. So they have started to ship, but they won't finish shipping until next Monday, because I'll have to, something's come up and I need to go out of town. So we're a little bit slow this week in getting all of those out, but you will get it. And I'm really excited. A lot of them are, there's a lot of variables. Typically, when we've done the mystery box runs, there's a lot of overlap, right? Like a whole swath of them will have the same thing. But there's a lot of variances in what's going on in these boxes. Also, I will say to you that if you're subscribed to the Witches box, there's going to definitely be repeats of some things. Keep them, gift them, whatever you want. there's that. But I think just about every box has at least a book. Just about every box has a deck of some sort. And what else is in there? Then just fun other things that are magical and beautiful. And I don't know, we have like a couple of those left, if I'm not mistaken. Just a couple. I highly recommend. Yeah, that's what I thought, Emerence, that the one she's in school is always a witch, something. Yeah, I think there was school and there was a witch, and I don't know. Esther says, simmer pots for fall season and making yummy soup. Reading books are my ritual as weather gets cold. Yeah, books and soups, right? And just the slow cooker always on. I love it. The Sim says, a neighbor of mine used to put a saucepan on the stove and only use it for water and pine sol to make her house smell cleaner. That's funny. Oh my God. But I mean, I would do that too. You can do it with like apple cider and like cinnamon sticks and slices of orange and vanilla beans. Like if you just boil that in your home, not only does it bring some, you may not want it depending on where you live geographically, but bring some moisture into the house, but also that beautiful smell that just smells of the season. I love doing that too. New Zealand, close to the hills that had snow dusting, not through calendared winter, just leading to spring. But yeah, I mean, there's that, right? Leading into spring, there's always like a little bit of we have that here. Leading into spring, although things have changed here so that we used to get our first snow in November, typically. There were a couple of years where we didn't get our first snow until February of the next year. Last year, we had one in December. So who knows? But it's always just as spring is coming, there's always like a big snow, and then we get the spring. Esther says, Lena, my soul sis, Claudia Olivos, is creator of the Oracle card featured on your site. Yes, it's such a beautiful deck. Beautiful deck. I used her labels with licensing rights and my witchery to make goddess candles that I sell. I'm so excited to see what these look like. I'm so excited. Carrie says that you're welcome, Carrie. Love summer pots. Or simmer pots. That's just okay. Thanks. Always a Witch and Luminary, completely different series. Oh, Always a Witch was the subtitled one. Oh, Always a Witch. I completely misread you. Always a Witch. Can I just point out right now with some big excitement that I have been talking without coughing? My coughing has gotten so much better. I'm so excited. Pine Sol over Fabuloso any day. My mother was so into Fabuloso. I hated Fabuloso. Snow in Vegas and people lose their mind. I bet that people lose their minds in Vegas. Wait, someone said just reminded me of something and now it's gone. Hold on, I needed to tell you something. Fabuloso. Oh God. Oh, that's what it was. I needed to tell you. We are not going to have a live guided meditation on Friday. I need to tell Emily that because I haven't actually told her because I'm traveling and it wasn't totally last minute, but so no guided meditation on Friday, but we'll pick it back up. Oh, hold on. Let me look at my calendar. I don't think we will pick it back up because that next Friday is our live retreat. Hold on. Yes. Okay, so we're not going to have a guided meditation this Friday on the 9th, and we will not have a live guided meditation on the 16th. Like that. We will have one on the 23rd, and then we will not have one on the 30th. So this month is going to be a little sparse when it comes to the guided meditations because I'm leaving this weekend. I'll be gone. Next weekend will be the live retreat, and then the last Friday of September, I'm going to be going on a personal retreat. There's just a lot of retreating going on. So like that. I don't like either. I mean, I like the smell of Pine Sol over Fabuloso. I don't like or use either because it's just a very it's too strong. I grew up with both, but I prefer a little bit more subtle products to clean the home so that the smell isn't overpowering everything. And usually my homes smell like either lavender or whatever it is that I'm burning, or my mist sprays. The first time I went to Vegas, it snowed and it didn't even stick and it was mass chaos, accidents everywhere. I bet, Rachel, it's similar to what happens in Southern California when it rains. Like we still don't have a single clue as to what to do when it rains. We don't know how to drive in the rain, and because it rains so infrequently, the freeways become slick and dangerous, and it's like it is just a hot mess of cars and accidents and bumping into each other and all the things. Luckily, I live in a place where the roads are windy and everyone's generally pretty slow, so we don't have as many accidents. We do have accidents when we have snow. I mean, ice on the road. Then it's a whole thing. Then it's like a circus, is what it is. Okay. Any other questions about witchery before we go for the day? I'm trying to think. I've given you those announcements. Again, we have a handful of the Moon Mist box left for sale, and then they're gone. We've already sold out of all of the Moon Mist spray sets. Those are gone. So if you want any of those Moon Mist sprays, you need to purchase the Moon Mist box, which again we're low on. We're also just about sold out of our mystery boxes. Oh, a couple of them have a statue. What else is happening? I think that's it. And the 10th is the last day to register to come and join us for the live retreat. We're going to be doing an ancestral initiation ritual. We're going to be doing quite a few other rituals throughout the weekend. A lot of learning, good food, all the things. Okay. Lasem says white vinegar lemon is a great odor killer. Yes. And it's just clean, right? It's a fresh clean. Yeah, I like it. Camilla says, Elena, I've wanted to suggest you this Oracle deck for quite some time because the messages are, it's beautiful. It's called the White Light Oracle. White Light Oracle. I just realized I'm starving. White Light Oracle. Okay, I'll write that down and I'll check it out. Thank you. Because the messages, okay, I read that. Priestess of the Wonderland, I love your name. Always good to see you. Glad I could catch it. Yes, absolutely. Thank you for being here. Layla says, I can't let this go. Siempre bruja, always a witch is Spanish. And in that there is a girl in university. And Luna Nera is talked in English, at least the one that I watched. Okay, so I'm going to put all these down because there's a lot. But here's what I'm going to ask you, Layla. Is that on Netflix? Siempre que bruja. And if it's written siempre like that, that is not Spanish. Okay. Sad to miss you on Fridays. But, you know, we do have that whole repository of meditations there or here on YouTube that you can check out on Friday if you want as a recording. Thank you, Abby. I'm looking forward to the travel. My husband, you know, things are opening up and he's part of, in his industry, there are regular conferences and we haven't seen these people in so long. So it's going to be fun to just, he'll be conferencing and I'll be socializing and resting. And one of the things that I've been craving desperately, we have it here, but it's not really good. And it's not a big variety. I have been dying for some good sushi. And so I'm going to be indulging in some big time sushi over the weekend, but also just, I'll still probably work, but in the quiet confines of a yummy hotel room. So hold on a second. And let's see what's happening. Go with yes. You're welcome, Esther. Lissam, nice way to end my work week. Night, everyone. Have a wonderful evening, Lissam. Yes, both are on Netflix. Layla, okay, both are wonderful. Siempre bruja is also always a witch, so that's a translation. Okay, I'm just not tracking. I'm not tracking anything. Okay, is there anything else I need to tell you? I think that's it. All right. Remember, I will post this because more people have joined. I will post this on the forum for the Witches Box. For those of you who are subscribed to the Witches Box, the October box is not vegan at all. So if this is a problem, you might want to pause your subscription before the 15th of this month. For those of you who are not subscribed to the Witches Box and are like, ooh, what are you doing? Then you want to definitely subscribe to the Witches Box before the 15th of this month. So there's that little thing. Angela says, so which oracle did I miss? It seems the lives land on my cycles too. Oh, interesting. So I'm like, ugh, but yay at the same time. Crap and a half. Where is the card? It was the wolf. We had a whole thing, so you definitely have to watch the replay. Here it is. It was this card. This is the card that we had. There we go, which is beautiful. And you can check it out on the replay, because I'm gonna run off and do things and try to avoid the heat is what I'm gonna do. Try to stay safe, all of you, of course. Stay cool, stay hydrated, be magical, do magical things, and we will talk. Well, we won't really talk live again until next Tuesday. So I will see you hopefully next Tuesday, and be on the lookout in your inbox for newsletters that announce whatever's going on. All right, my loves, take care, and I will see you soon. Bye. Okay.